toddlers are busybodies. They are easily distracted. And so if you have a toddler who can't sit still at mealtime, this is the video for you. The good news is that toddlers can focus. The bad news is that their focus is very limited. Their attention span is short. If you have a toddler that can't sit at the table and eat, make sure you like this video, make a comment below, and follow this channel. I'm Jill Castle, a pediatric dietitian, and today in this video I'm going to teach you how to help your toddler sit still and eat. I'm going to teach you 6 tips that will radically change the dynamic around eating and your toddler and sitting at the table. But let me say first, you cannot make your toddler eat. You should not try to make your toddler eat. We'll discuss this a little bit, but I want to preface this whole video with that point. If you try to make your toddler eat, it's going to ruin all these tips, and it's not going to work for you or for your toddler. Rather than buckling your toddler to the chair at the table, we're going to take a different approach, which is focused on setting up a mealtime environment that encourages your child to sit and stay at the table so they can eat. This all begs the question, why can't toddlers sit still and eat? Why can't they sit at the table and stay there? Well, a lot of this has to do with their developmental stage. They're very curious, they're exploratory, and they want to get out there and discover the world. This makes them get very engaged in the activities that they're doing, and it also makes it hard for them to disengage from what they're doing. So I've got 4 kids, and this was especially true with my oldest child, who would really intensively get involved with playing with her toys. And as a result, she never wanted to disengage and come to the table. Or if she did come to the table, she wanted to immediately get back to what she was doing beforehand. Now, what I will say is, as a first-time mom, I was confused and frustrated, and I really didn't understand what was going on. Now, as a seasoned mother with 4 raised children and a pediatric dietitian, I understand that this is all part of development. It's natural and it's normal. The thing is, we have to set up the environment so our toddlers want to stay, but also we have to teach our toddlers how to stay. So I'm going to do that right now with these 6 tips. Hang on to the end with me, because tip number 5 is a game changer. Okay, tip number 1, remove all distractions at mealtime. So don't bring your toddler to the table with a book or a toy, or turn on a video or use the iPad, because this distracts your toddler from the job at hand, which is to sit at the table and eat. Now, mind you, toddlers don't take very long to eat, and they don't need to be sitting at the table for more than 20 or 30 minutes. That actually gets to be way too long for them. But if you have distractions at the table, they will be distracted and they won't eat as efficiently as they can. Distractions make your toddler split their attention between eating and whatever else you've got at the table. So a distraction-free table environment will help your toddler focus on eating. Tip number 2, wait to bring your toddler to the meal table until the meal is ready. So some parents bring their toddler to the high chair or to the meal table and get them all buckled in and have them sit there and wait until they get the meal ready. This is just setting yourself up for failure. Toddlers don't have that length of attention capacity. They don't have the attention span, and they don't have a lot of patience for just sitting and doing nothing and waiting. So what you need to do is make sure that you wait until the meal is ready before you place your toddler at the table. Tip number 3, make sure you have realistic expectations about how long your toddler should be at the table. So for meals, as I mentioned before, 20 minutes. 30 is probably a little bit too long for most toddlers, quite honestly. We know that toddlers, when they come to the table hungry, they eat quickly and can probably finish a meal in 10 to 15 minutes. So have expectations that are realistic. Don't expect that your toddler is going to sit at the table for 30 minutes or 25 minutes. Be more realistic with that expectation. The same goes for snacking. Snacks are probably done in 5, 10, 15 minutes. So keep your expectations realistic when it comes to how long your toddler should sit at the table. Tip number 4 is to sit down with your toddler while they are eating. Again, nobody wants to sit alone by themselves in a high chair or at a table or at the counter and eat. That removes all the sociability of eating together. So if you're feeding your toddler, sit down with them and eat alongside them, or at least be present there with them while they are eating. Number 1, it's a safety tip, but number 2, it's a social tip as well. Remember that toddlers learn how to eat, what to eat, and how to behave at the table when they're surrounded by adults who are modeling that behavior. Tip number 5, what I told you before, the game changer. Use a timer. So toddlers and preschoolers are very black and white concrete thinkers. And so when you say, oh, we're going to sit for 15 minutes, that doesn't really mean a lot to them. They don't understand that concept. But a timer where they can watch the ticking go down, or they can watch the digital numbers decrease and an alarm go off when it's done, can help a toddler understand that there are limits around the time that they have to be at the table, but they're also it allows you to set a realistic expectation for yourself and for your toddler. And toddlers love a challenge, so make this fun. Start small. Maybe you set the timer for a minute or 2 minutes, and when it goes off, there's this, oh my gosh, you made it. You lasted for 2 minutes at the table. That's amazing. And just incrementally increase that time until you get it to a point that is realistic for toddlers. Again, 15, 20 minutes for mealtime, 5 to 10 to 15 minutes for snack time. And the 6th tip is to explain to your toddler that it's important to sit down and eat. And you want to keep these explanations very simple, easy for your toddler to understand. Something along the lines of, we have nap time, we have bedtime, we have tubby time, and we have eat time. So at eat time, we sit still at the table and we eat our food. Make sure you repeat these words occasionally, that the language you use is something that your toddler learns and gets used to, because all of this will be internalized. They will be processing these words and it will make sense to them. So we have nap time, we have eat time. Right now it's time to eat. So these tips will help you teach your toddler to sit still at the table and eat. Let's review them very quickly. 1, remove all distractions. 2, sit your toddler at the table when the meal is ready. 3, keep your expectations realistic. 4, sit with your toddler while they eat. 5, use a timer. And 6, explain why it's important to come to the table and sit for a meal or a snack. Now, I want you to try at least one of these tips today. And I want you to tell me in the comments below what tip you're choosing to try. I'm super excited to hear how you guys do with this. And if you've made it this far, make sure you go below to the description. I have other links there that will be super helpful to you as you try to help your toddler to sit still. I'll see you next time.